Today I'm going to be replacing a 3-prong out-of-date dryer receptacle with an updated code-compliant 4-prong dryer receptacle. Before working on this outlet, I'm going to secure the 30 amp breaker to the receptacle. I know the panel's not labeled. That is a future project. I just moved in. I'm going to set my meter to non-contact voltage before I take this cover off and just make sure that I have the right breaker. This outlet cover is only held in by one screw and about 40 layers of paint. It's pretty safe to say that I will not be reusing this outlet cover. With the outlet cover off, it's only 4 screws to where I can separate the outlet from the metal casing. I'm going to carefully pull this outlet back, and before I go sticking my screwdriver on terminals, I'm going to double check and make sure there is really no power to this outlet with my voltmeter. Now I can safely unhook the wires from the back of the 3-prong receptacle. This home was built in the 80s, and luckily they ran a ground wire from the panel all the way to the box, which is absolutely needed if you want to install or upgrade to a 4-prong dryer receptacle. If not, you have to run a ground wire. Luckily, I didn't have to do that. This ground wire was a little short, so I just moved the screw over just a couple of inches so I could have a little more play in the ground wire. It's important to know that the ground wire has to be bonded to the metal junction box. I've got my new 4-prong dryer receptacle ready to go. If we look at the back, we can see where the wires are going to be inserted. On the bottom we have white, blanco, that's where our neutral is going to go. On the top we have ground, vert, that's where our ground's going to go. Put a 120 volt wire on X and a 120 volt wire on Y to make 240 volts. When hooking up these wires, you want the torque tight. 25 pounds per inch of torque on a number 10 gauge wire, 30 pounds on a number 8 wire. Keep in mind, this is all for entertainment purposes only. You should not listen or follow anything I say. If you want one of these hooked up in your home, you should definitely hire a licensed electrician to do it for you. I'm here shoving in this neutral wire, but I noticed that the insulation looks kind of melted, like it was hooked up bad before. It just seems to be wearing away. I've got a little bit of space, so I decided to cut it where the insulation was compromised just to make a nicer connection. Hooking up the neutral on the bottom, the white lug, and I'm going to tighten this to the same torque that I do for the 2 hot wires. Last but not least, we're going to hook up the ground wire, and we are going to apply the same amount of torque to this nut as well. This is 10 gauge wire. It takes me 2 hands to push these wires back in the receptacle box. I'm going to get it as close as I can. Then I'm going to use the long screws and my drill to do the bulk of the heavy work, and also make sure that I'm not smushing any of the wires when drilling the receptacle into the box. Next step is just to install the brand new cover plate that make it look nice and shiny. Turn the breaker back on and then test for power. Unfortunately, when I hit the start button, the dryer didn't start, but our voltage was good, which means this fix is done. If you want to see the rest of the fix, check out this video above. Thanks for watching.